everyone. In this video, I'm going to show you how to release a newer version of the application in the AKS. And we're going to start over by building an HTML static web application. Of course, content is of your choice. And we're going to Dockerize the application. Right next, we're going to tag and publish the Dockerized application to the Docker Hub with a versions. Of course, the tag is nothing but a version. And we're going to deploy the containerized application in the AKS. All right, to start over, let me quickly open up my Docker Hub where you can see I don't have any repositories and I don't have any images stored in this repository, right? So I have to start over by showing the HTML file. So in this demo, what we're going to do is we create a HTML file and deploy that on the Nginx server. So I'm going to Dockerize this and publish this. Content is of your choice, right? So whatever you feel free to modify it, and you can just publish any HTML file. Over here for the demo purpose, I've done some few lines of HTML codes. I've got the application version 1.00 and Docker tag 1.00. This is just a text, and to differentiate what is version 1 and version 2.0 and how we are going to release it. Okay, let me quickly run this HTML file in my local machine, and then let's see how this works and what is the difference we can see it over. Let me reveal this in the file explorer. That's good. Let me double click on the home. That's awesome. This is the application which you see. And if I go ahead and modify it to the version 2.0, there will be a slight modification in the colors and other steps and the text. So let me show you that as well. Let me go ahead and do a comment of this. And let me uncomment the version 2.0 code. If I refresh this page, you can see the difference in the colors of the cube and the text. Right now, I'm gonna comment the version 2 and publish version 1.0. Uncomment it. So as a first step, what I have to do, I need to build and tag version 1.0. I'm going to use the command docker build -t and then the tag version is this. So this is the tag name, okay, right? I'm going to build that. Copy it. I'm sorry about that. For some reason, I didn't copy properly. I'll copy this and paste it up here. Good. So I've got my Docker file in the same location. Docker file is not that complex. It's just going to get the base image Nginx and copy the home HTML to the desired location over here. All right, that's good. What's happening now? Okay, so let's start the build. I forgot to push enter. Right now the build is started, and what I see is I need to make sure the HTML version code is correct. Yes, I've got 1.0 Docker tag, that's commented. Good. Already, I think the version 1 is pushed to the Docker Hub. It may take a couple of minutes. Let's see how that works. No issues. Still, I don't see the repository created over here. I don't see any information. Okay, no worries. Let it take its own time. And what I have to do now, I need to modify and publish the second version. Let me go ahead and do that. Comment this back here and uncomment my line of codes so that I get application version 2.0 and Docker tag 2.00. So what I expect is when I use the version Docker version 1.0.0, in that case I need to get a cube with a black and red. And when I'm using the version 2.0.0, in that case, I need to see some multicolor, some blue or whatever the colors it is, right? So that's the changeover I need to see. And that's my application version 1.0 and 2.0. So in this case, I don't need to rework on anything. I just go to the preview mode and see. I've got the command ready. I copy this back here and paste it here. That's back. Let me put it as 2.0. Then I need to push. Good. The 2.0 is also pushed. Now, sorry, built. Now I'm going to push that to my Docker Hub. This may take a couple of minutes. Let's see the previous version, if it's appearing here. No, not it. Let's see the repositories. From the repositories, right? Docker Hub. Shall we? Now, let me go to my repositories. And I don't see any repositories yet. May take few minutes. That's okay. Let that come up. Meanwhile, we can see the other command. Oh, that's still pushing. I think then I would have missed it to push the previous version. That's Collaborance Cloud pack version 1.0.0. So that's going to take a couple of minutes. So what do we do meanwhile is, if I'm not wrong, I have not done this piece of code. Probably, yeah. Great. So once I have done this, I've Dockerized my application and I've pushed my application to the Docker Hub, the image to the Docker Hub. All right. So that's good. So let me see it in the history if I have done the push. I think I've missed it. So I'm pushing the version 1.0 again to my Docker Hub. So that's publicly available. You can pull that and make use of that. Just for a demo purpose. It's not going to serve any kind of purpose at all, because there is nothing big running over there. It's just a fancy HTML application using a Metro UI framework. Right. So let's see whether we have the version 2.0 now. Great. I've got my repository. Fantastic. So you can see the tag version 2.0 and it's on the Linux OS. That's good. It's all good. There is no issues. I'm using the free version, so I can't do the vulnerability scanning over here. I have to upgrade to the pro. Okay, anyways, that's out of the scope for this video. And what we need to do now is to check whether the version 1.0 is pushed. It is pushed now, so let me refresh it. Now I can see the version 1.0 as well. I've done it another way around. Ideally, I have to push the 1 and then move to the 2, but that's okay. That's not going to have any issues technically. Now that I have got both the versions, I'm going to use version 1.0 deployment. So let's see how I'm going to do that. It's not that complex. It's pretty straightforward. I'm going to push, I have done the push to the Docker Hub. Now I'm going to create the deployment. For that, I'm going to use a kubectl commandlet and create the deployment. This is going to be my deployment name, and the image, hyphen image, I'm going to pull it out from the repository, from my Docker Hub, which is publicly available, right? And I'm going to use it I'm going to use the version 1.0.0. Let me quickly copy this piece of line, copy this code back here. We should work now. For some reason this is not going good because of the copy paste. Great. Copy this. Excellent. So I'm creating a deployment. Before creating a deployment, let's see whether I have any deployment in place already. I don't have any deployment. I don't have any paths. That answers that I don't have any replica set. And that answers I don't have any service running except the cluster IP service. Indeed, yes. So now I'm going to run the deployment. So what happens? This helps me out to finish the deployment. Excellent. So I've created a deployment. What should I do now? I need to go ahead and quickly say kubectl get deployment. Excellent. It's positive sign for us. I've got one up to date, one available, and that is ready. So what does that mean? That means I have got a pod. PO is the alias of pods. So I've got one pod up and running. Excellent. But I don't have a service. So I need to expose this to access the application over the internet. To do that, I need to use a load balancer service, right? So not a big issue for us. I'm going to expose this using the commandlet over here. Just quickly copy this. So I'm going to use a kubectl to expose the deployment, the name of the deployment, type is the load balancer, port 80, target port as 80. That's the container port. That application is going to be accessible via the port 80. And the service name, it can be of anything. Make sure that you're giving any friendly name so that you can remember it, or anyways you're not going to remember any of the services and stuff. You're going to pull it out through the commandlet and do the copy paste. So here I'm gonna exposing the deployment. It's good. So now what we expect is a service. So I see the service name Collaborance Cloud Service. You can see it here, Collaborance Cloud Service, and I've got no external IP. That means I don't have a public IP address at this point of time. It takes a couple of minutes to assign a public IP, and then what happens is it will allow me to access that over my browser through the port 80. I don't explicitly mention port 80, but that will work. Amazing. I can see the public IP here. So what happens, what does that mean is it should allow me to access it over my browser. What do we see here is welcome to Nginx. That's the default index.html. Okay, let me go back to my code here. If you observe, I have moved home.html to this desired location. Underneath the Nginx, we will see HTML folder. Sorry, underneath the HTML folder, we may have multiple HTML files like index.html, 404.html, whatever it is, right? I'm not going to get in detail of that in this video. So simply, I'm going to use home.html in the navigation part. All right, I think I made a mistake. Okay, home.html. So you can see the application is accessible over the internet. Yeah, of course it's not secure. We will cover that in later part of the videos, in upcoming videos, sorry. And you see this is the application version 1.0.0. And yes, of course I made a typo in Docker, but that's okay. It says the number version 1.0.0. So let's see whether I'm using the right version. I didn't make a mistake in this version of Docker, but I wasn't sure why it's pulling out the previous version. But let's see how we are going to upgrade to the version 2.0. Okay, so let me quickly go ahead and do the edit. So I'm going to do the set image command to the kubectl and modify the version. Before that, I will show you what exactly is there in the deployment. Kubectl describe deployment, my deployment name. Maybe some typo. Okay, that's Collaborance Cloud, no problem. Okay, so it's all good. I don't see any issues at this point of time. Let me see output. Okay, I don't see any issues at this point of time in this deployment. This is all good. That's my container, that's my image name, and that is using the version 1.0.0. I don't have any replicas, but that's okay. We don't need to worry about it. Let me quickly go ahead and capture this code back here and paste this. What we are planning to do here is I have the deployment name collaborations-cloud, and it has an image image name collaborations-cloud, and I'm giving a command here to upgrade to set to the version 2.0.0. All right, let me see how this works. Okay, that's a good information. The flag hyphen record is deprecated. That's okay. It's a warning. It's not going to impact us. Now that I have updated to the version um, 2.0.0, now let's see what my deployment is going to give me. I can see in the description the Collaborance Cloud container is using the version 2.0.0 instead of 1.0.0. What does that mean is I haven't changed anything on my pods or on my service. Let me quickly go ahead and list out my service. So I use kubectl get svc. I use the same IP address 20.84.236.251. So you see 20.84.236.251. Let me open up a new tab and I use the same IP address. First, let's see the index.html. The base information is up and running. Yes, of course it's up and running because there is no change in the paths in the IP address, right? So I'm gonna do home.html. This didn't upgrade it yet. Yes, it's from the cache. Now it's upgraded. If you see, the version 1.0 is using the black and red cube over here with text 1.0, and now in the version 2 I can see it's using 2.0.2. That's fantastic. Okay, this is how I go ahead and upgrade the version and deploy the application in my AKS. This is a small example of using Nginx in AKS, and in my upcoming video I'll try to give some more good information to work with AKS. Thanks a lot for watching my video.